Scotty.
Hey, welcome to Feedback from England.
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
Well, that was dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gray.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host.
Oh, hey, that's me. You know, ever since I took my name off there, I never know when to turn this damn thing off. So, hey, welcome to Friday, everybody. This is the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, as you well know. Otherwise, you just tripped over this place, and I'm really not sure how that would have happened. Let's see. To my right is my good friend Jessy Martin from Southeast Virginia. How you doing today, sir?
Doing fantastic.
I'm telling you what, you are the most conservative person I've ever seen on screen. You've got 100% of screen, and you never use more than 20% of it. My man's always like way over here. Down below him, we got my friend Scotty from across the pond, who is just now getting over COVID. So you still have your lungs intact? Everything's good?
I'm absolutely fine, John. Yeah, no issues. Just obviously felt a bit weak for a few days, which is not like me. Still got a continual headache, but that's fine. We'll get over that.
That's all right. Now, I'm sure our good friend STEVE LIM, our special guest STEVE LIM down there. How are you doing today, buddy? I'm sure that we really didn't need to have Scott's entire medical history there. Just wanted to see if he was all right.
That's okay. We got to give love to our friends across the pond, you know.
That's right. Okay, so real quick, where can we find Steve and all his content? As if everybody doesn't know already. But hey, man, got to do it.
I am STEVE LIM. You can find me at STEVE_LIM_DC or at Command This. Just Google that. We are there on all audio platforms and YouTube.
Yeah, man, good show. I enjoy it. All right, so it's Friday, which means we're looking at the New York stinking Giants, which means it's time for a confidence level check because I don't know how we can have any confidence levels with this team. I don't know what the fuck to expect. So I will start with you, Steve. What's your confidence level heading into this game against the Giants, given all of our history and all the bullshit?
It should be high, but it's not high.
There's that word again.
It should be. It's not. Only because in Vegas is spotting us 8.5 points. I don't like it.
No,
I don't want to be.
It went down. We were 9.5.
As of yesterday on DraftKings, it was 8.5. So,
Scott grabs it. He's a smart money. He's putting it on.
Yeah, it's a tough one. My confidence level is, I'd say, medium. They were facing Tommy DeVito, Jacob Eason, and Matt Barkley just got called up from the practice squad. So we should win this game. We always play down to competition. So confidence level, medium. All
right. So, Jessy, your confidence level going into this game, keeping in mind that there's probably going to be maybe a little olive oil on the ball coming off of that DeVito guy's hair. Look, I know that was a horrible joke. Steve's like, "Oh my God, how did I get on this show?"
We have there should be zero reasons why we shouldn't win this game, and every reason why we should win this game. But I still have no confidence. Like, how could you?
How could you?
You look. A month ago, we played this team. Not much different than the team that we're going to play now. Yeah, different quarterback, but really, Tyrod Taylor.
Though Tyrod Taylor has never been a.
He scored 14 points.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, it's 14 points. Let's get real here.
Okay, I'm getting real. You're right.
I still don't have confidence. I have confidence of one half of really good football from this offense. It seems like we've played two good games, from start to finish, I guess, on offense. I know people are fired up about Eric Bieniemy. I am not as high as many people are with him, but
list. What are we? 4 minutes into the show this time? Yeah. All right.
But yeah, you can't have confidence. You should not. Nobody should have confidence going into this game.
No. They shouldn't, unless you're Sam Howell. You better have some confidence. What about you, Scott? Where's your confidence level?
I'm like Steve. I'm kind of mid-range with the confidence. Optimism, yes, I'm high on it. I'm very optimistic that we are going to get a result at the weekend. I think Sam's showed us that he can put back-to-back good performances with 300 yards. Yes, okay, the fumble is something that we don't want to see. You're trying too hard at times there, but there's other bits where I'm confident in him as an individual person. Absolutely. I think he is showing the confidence of being the QB1 moving forward. But, and it is a but, we always, as Steve said, play down to our opposition. We also seem to somehow almost like feel sorry for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, it's I don't know. And then the defense doesn't get going. They've gone missing completely. We've had 1 sack total since the trade of Chase and Montez. It's going to be difficult again, I think, just because it is New York, and we know what Wink Martindale's going to bring. So optimism, blind optimism, absolutely, I'm optimistic. Confidence about midway.
You know, I am always the one that's saying we should smoke this team, and there's that word, should. I hate that word. You English people invented a word that really just kicks us in the ass every week. We should kick this team in the ass. We should win 42-10. Well, the Cowboys win 49-17 last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
Playing down to the opponent on their offense, I agree. If our defense can't do something with that offense again, man, I don't want to hear it anymore from Jack. I'm so sick and tired of listening to Jack Del Rio and all these people that make excuses for this fucking guy. If he can't do it this week, forget it. Offensively, you know, we're not really playing down. That is Wink Martindale, and he does come with some creative stuff. And I think that last game, even though it was a shock to us, and even though Jesse and I will disagree as to the level of Tyrod Taylor, he did move that ball up and down the field on us, and he's been a starter in the league in the past. So he's not like terrible. Not like this guy, DeVito. What is it, Tony DeVito?
Still lives with his mom. Still lives with his mom.
What the issue is with this guy is he's got a huge cannon of an arm, big arm. And what is our problem? The problem is giving up the big play.
Yes,
So,
Yeah, that's true.
That's my main concern going into this game. And then obviously there's a lot of lessons that can be learned from with the offense from last time, and you have seen a steady improvement since that game. So hopefully Eric comes in with a game plan, to mitigate that right away, because that was the issue.
We've given up a 60-yard plus play in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
So, geez, do they have anybody other than Barkley that can do that?
I mean, Darren Waller, but he's injured.
Right.
Jalen Hyatt,
we're not going to see him.
Right.
Jalen Hyatt, he's the speedy guy that can take the top off the defense, but Darren Waller is their leading receiver. You have Darius Slayton, you have Jalen Hyatt,
Slayton.
After that, I'm struggling with you, Steve.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
Patriots. Wallace, was that his name? The receiver that came out of nowhere against the Patriots and just up and down the field on us. Was it Wallace?
Wandale Robinson.
Wandale Robinson.
That's
the kind of a name that'll have a day on us.
I just pulled up the injury report because all the talk.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
All the talk was how beat up the Giants are, and yeah, they do have some players that are out on IR, but I think the only 2 players that have been on the injury report that have been counted out is Adoree Jackson and Evan Neal, the right tackle and cornerback. Everybody else is either limited. Let's see, Saquon Barkley. Okay, he was limited today too, but he's probably going to play. Kayvon Thibodeau, he's going to play. Jalen Hyatt's going to play.
He's in the concussion protocol, Jesse. So
but he's out of it. He was full today.
Oh, was he?
Yep,
fair enough.
Yep. There's no.
Is there anything on Bobby Okereke as well?
He is playing.
Okay.
Yep.
Scott is the official name pronouncer of the Bleeding Burgundy.
No, there'll be some linebacking stunts there coming, some pressure from the linebackers as well. He's a very good linebacker. I do like him a lot, actually.
All right. Well, so let me ask you, I'm going to throw it back down to Steve here because he's new with us, and a lot of people get new with us and they get shy in here. They don't just jump in during the free-for-all segment, and that's fine. Wink Martindale, I'm coming back to him. You think he's learned a lesson? I think that what Jesse said earlier is wise. I think what he did against the Eagles by starting the game out by spreading the plays out wider, doing some quick hits from the line of scrimmage out to the edges to try to back off those inner rushes. Is there where's your confidence level in regards to our offense being able to match and meet what Wink Martindale is going to do now that they've seen it?
Well, first off, did you know Wink Martindale was a old game show host?
Yes, I did. He hosted Tic-Tac-Doe, in fact. He was
one of the most
looking dudes ever.
Last Word, High Rollers, Trivial Pursuit. No, not related.
No.
I just learned that 5 seconds ago because on our show last night, I was convinced that it was the same person because that's what someone told me. And when you don't do your own research, you get stumped. But yes, different Wink Martindale.
We don't do research around here. Just letting you know that.
I do a bit.
One of the most faces of all time.
Okay, I don't do research around here. I was
Googling while he said Wink Martindale, and I was like, oh man, but no, I think it's a tale of two halves right now. The last time we saw them, we had a different lineup set. Sam Howell was taking sacks. I mean, for I think they had 5 sacks until they played us. They had 6 sacks that game alone. So it's a different lineup. We have a new center. We have Tyler Larson in that center. Yeah. Sam Howell's either getting rid of the ball quickly, throwing it out of bounds, or he's scrambling. I think it's going to be different. I feel like that has been neutralized with experience in play calling. So I think we're going to be okay with regards to that. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I tend to agree with Larson. He's 30 pounds heavier than Bates is. So we won't necessarily see him get picked up and thrown into Sam's lap like we were seeing against the Giants last time. So that should be a big positive. Scott, what about you? What do you think on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's not, if you look at the metrics and you take figures and stats and figures, you would say that it hasn't made a difference having Chris Paul and Larson there. But on the eye test, it's obvious that Larson is making a difference. He's, as I've said before to you, both of you, the difference is he's straight out of the block. He's into that block in, immediately. You can see it straight away. And having that tick, little half a second longer for Sam Howell to be able to throw the ball, it's making a difference. And that means that the wide receivers can get out their runs. That's where we need to be. But yeah, I'm confident with the O-line. I'm confident with EB's play calling for a half last week. I wasn't confident. I'm not confident in him playing a full game, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. He's still on the hot seat for me.
And by the way, Wink Martindale is looking at your offense. It's not the most plastic-looking face you've ever seen. Welcome to Tic Tac Toe, everybody. So thanks to Steve for bringing that up so I can make this corny joke. And thanks for Keith for joining us and taking us to bed tonight. Let's see. So far, we've been in the car with Keith. We've been to a Porta-John with Keith. We've been to the bathroom with Keith. Now we're in bed with Keith. So, yeah, it's always an adventure whenever Keith shows up to the show. How are you today?
Man, I tried to make it on time, fellas. I don't even know how long I've got. I've been running around like a damn fool.
Like a damn fool?
Like a damn fool. And then my son wants to go to the Unlimited playoff game tonight at 7. So after I asked him earlier, hey, are we going to go? And he's like, no, none of my friends are going to be there. Then I get a call. Then I get a call at 5 or at 5 o'clock while I'm out blowing the leaves and taking care of the yard, because that's what grown men do, right? And but I used Jesse's method this year. See, last year I was dumb as shit, and I'm all blowing the leaves and getting them in a nice little pile so that way the stupid fucking leaf truck can come by and not pick any of them up because the wind the next day is just going to blow them all back into the fucking yard to begin.
It is the most useless endeavor there is.
Absolutely. So anyways, guys, I know you don't care.
It's therapeutic to me.
I get a call and Dad, can you take me to the game? And so now I'm running around like a fool, and I was late, and I'm sorry.
That's all right. I've got video of Keith's last half an hour.
Smith with time, lots of time.
Wait a minute. Wasn't that Jamin Davis last week?
No, Jamin Davis was this one.
Disley, and Disley with a little bit of running room. Barreling forward across the 40 and out of bounds.
Davis loafing it. This was our safety blitz in the fourth quarter.
Laser, they're all blocking to the left. Here comes that pressure. Quick dart. Metcalf with a catch.
Got yeeted.
All right. So hang on. Somebody else talk because I just laughed and that's going to make me cough at the end of this cold.
On the offense, I'm actually looking forward to seeing how Eric Bieniemy and Sam Howell, after they got mollywopped last game against the Giants straight up. It's
humiliating.
Yeah, it would definitely be humiliating. And going off of what Scotty said about the offensive line, passing the eye test, I think too that kind of coincides with Bieniemy calling different plays. Not making Sam, do the 5 and 7 step drops and calling a lot more quick plays and moving the pocket as well. So I think that kind of like goes hand in hand. I definitely think Chris Paul needs to get better, or we were talking. Me and Scouts were talking about this yesterday on the bunker. That Sadiq Charles is coming back, starting to practice on the side field, and I'm wondering if they put him back in once he's healthy enough to play. That's going to be something interesting to look at going forward.
All right, a question for the room then. Just anybody that wants to chime in. Between Charles and Paul, does one of them do one thing better than the other in particular, and would it behoove us to maybe rotate them in and out of the game depending on situation, or would that give away too much to the defense?
I can answer that.
Please do. Go, sir.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about any of this, but
I knew you were going there.
I say leave it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Things are working. Sadiq, sit your ass down until it stops working. That's what I would do.
I agree. I think that all the time I see these things where PFF says this and PFF says that, and I mean I like these guys over there at PFF, but my eyes say things that are completely different than what PFF is saying. And even though, like Scott, you brought up earlier about how that is showing with Paul. There's a lot of things at play here. EB's getting better plays called. Sam's getting the ball out quicker. And it's not that I think that they've reduced his reads. It's not like he's taking one read and then dumping it off. He's making checks. He's taking reads, and if it doesn't work out, he's deciding when to run. You can see it now as he's calculating behind the line. He's just getting the ball out faster. He's not taking those stupid sacks. Go ahead, Scott.
I agree.
Ran out.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely. I think that for me, I think Sadiq Charles better in the run game. He's better in the run protection side of it against Chris Paul. But as you said, Steve, just if it isn't broke, don't fix it. For me, just leave it as it is for now. We also have to evaluate these players as well. You know what I mean? I mean, they are both draft picks, both Sadiq Charles and Paul. But obviously Sadiq is coming to the end of his contract. I think he's one of the 25 that's due. So it'll be interesting to see where we move going forward. And we have to see, is Chris Paul good enough as a guard moving forward?
It's interesting thing about Sadiq, he was actually drafted to be a tackle, and
he was Joe Burrow's blindside, man, for years.
Yeah. And injuries really stunted his growth, I guess. But if you can't get it together,
what is he doing?
What are you doing?
I don't know.
If he can't get it together, going into year 4, and then there's the injury issue with Sadiq, you're probably going to go ahead and cut ties with him after this year.
We might have to. I tell you what, I really wouldn't care one way or the other with that kind of stuff. When they brought him in as a left tackle, but they started him at right tackle, if I remember right, and then he got hurt. And for me, right tackle is a completely different position. People seem to think that because there's a guy that can play swing tackle, then that means they're both relatively similar. And it's similar in like a switch hitter is similar in baseball. If you can do it, you can do it. But if you can't do it, you're going to freaking break your damned arms.
There's a lot of tackles that get drafted that are left tackles that they move to right tackle because they've seen them. And that's why, I mentioned last week about possibly because Leno is having a good year.
Yes,
and not many people are giving him the credit that it's due. I think he was a little shaky in the beginning of the year, but he's been solid since. He'll still give up a penalty and a sack here and there. But moving him over to right tackle next year will avoid us having to go out and, either spend high draft picks on 2 tackles or, big money in free agency because we're definitely going to need one. What the hell is Keith doing?
I have no idea. It's always a game. What the hell is Keith doing? Which room are we in now? And how many clothes does he have on?
Should be a new segment for you guys.
Hey guys, do you want to know my opinion on what Jessy just said?
I'm gonna guess it's 4 words.
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about this team. I'm checked out. I actually only joined this because I thought it was a Wizards podcast.
A Wizards podcast. Yeah. Right. That'll make sense one day.
Cool.
I'll tell you what. Let's get to the press conferences this week. I just want some thoughts on that.
Got my Wizards hat. As bad as they are. They're so bad.
They are bad.
I've never been able to get into NBA basketball since probably the early 90s. That's been about it. But hey, that's me. All right, so the press conferences this week. How do you feel about them? And Steve, you've been sitting there so polite, letting these guys talk all over the place, because that's how we do. What are your thoughts on these press conferences this week? I mean, you saw today with Ron and yesterday with JDR.
Yeah, the media, of course, with the little smart ass comment from JDR, because they said that, when you traded away, he was like, when I traded away, right? A little snappy thing from JDR. I don't mind that. Ron he's Ron. He's not totally good at the press conference. He gives a total political answer. I get it. If I have my green screen up on my show yesterday, I had this, the picture of Ron with his head cannon to the side of my profile. I don't really have an opinion on the press conferences. They're usually not good. He gives the traditional political answer. He's not doing himself any favors. He continues to show sometimes that he has no idea what's going on, especially in the post games when we could have been eliminated, or
do you think that's just a load of shit? Do you think that's an act? Do you think he's just really kind of just? He can't be that out of tune, right?
You can't be, right? You can't know that you don't have 3 times. Like when you go into halftime with 3 timeouts, that infuriates me. Like, what are you doing as a coach?
That happens often enough that I think he does have a problem with that.
Like, yeah.
So
I didn't get to see in the press today because of work, but at least the ones I've seen so far this week, they're kind of harmless. I kind of like how Jack Del Rio snapped back, but Ron is who he is. It's not going to change. He's going to give either a stupid answer or I don't know, or.
I think today's press conference. I didn't see it live, so I don't know. I know it was tweeted out about one portion of a sentence. How media does, so the context wasn't necessarily there. But then I saw the printout of what was actually said, and I kind of it seemed to me, like I said, I didn't see it live, so I don't know how the context is. Sometimes you can take how people talk and what they say is different than just reading it off a sheet of paper or on your phone. But I mean, what he said, I guess, been through a lot of shit in 3 years. I'm sure that has something to do with the cancer also, dealing with that and the stuff.
He's definitely had less fire. It seems like, he's very much more even keeled.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing.
If I was Ron Rivera, you couldn't really worry about, what's going on. You got to focus on the here and now, and that's what it's about. I mean, he knows he's not going to be here next year. I mean, but could you blame him for not just coming out and saying it? I mean, I wouldn't come out and say it. Hey, fuck, I'm not going to be here next year. So the fuck, No. I mean, you can't do that.
Remember, he said that a couple was it 2 months ago? Well, if I'm not here the next year, give me if the team goes super next year, give me the trophy. I did you a good job. Like who says that?
But I was chatting with Kyle today a bit about this, and he, about how he was talking of what he was saying today, and that's kind of like the way I feel about it, dude. It is your job to do your best until you're not here. You can't focus on whether they're going to fire you. That's part of the job of being a coach. It's like right there in the description. You got to keep focusing until the rug is literally out from under you. And he does. So I'll give him that. But does it seem like he's focused, Keith? Does it look like he's focused?
I don't think he's ever been focused.
Okay. How about you, Scott? That was an answer for me.
No, I can keep going.
Go on.
Okay, please go ahead.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, okay? I've been a Ron supporter for a couple of years. We all were, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I did pay attention to that press conference, and the only thing that I took from it is this guy's going to walk out of here this year, and he's going to pound his chest, okay? And he's going to say, well, I changed the culture, which that is fucking overrated to begin with. But anyways, that's hearsay, okay? I changed the culture, and I found a quarterback. No, sir. No, sir. Don't take credit for that.
That's right.
Sam Howell was available in the 5th round. You needed to fucking draft a guy. You drafted a guy, and if he was the quarterback, you would have put his ass out last season and not played Taylor Heineke and waste even more games of my life and waste my money the way that you have. And then this year, all of a sudden Sam Howell's playing well. Now he's getting national. We found ourselves a quarterback.
Accidentally found one.
We tripped over him in the dark.
This guy's literally going to walk away from this, and he's going to feel that he built our organization, when in the reality, it's still fucking shit.
All right. Scott, please.
I will say this.
Go on, Jesse, you go.
I am 100% glad that Sam didn't play last year. I'm just saying. I'm
Me too. I think he's done well.
I agree with it. You and I have always agreed on it.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you this, Scott.
But let's not just accidentally fall into Sam talking about we found our quarterback as if Sam Howell is going to be our franchise quarterback for the next 15 years. Fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
You know how many quarterbacks we've been through, and you're going to take credit for Sam Howell? Bro, you rolled over and fell into that 5th round pick. Yep. And guarantee, I don't even think he thought that he was going to be a starter. But all of a sudden this season, Sam Howell's playing well. You know why Sam Howell's starting? Because there wasn't a fucking vet in free agency that was worth going to grab like we've been doing, chasing those retread assholes, ending up with the same results over and over and over and over again. Now we find ourselves a rookie, and we're going to take credit for that. Bro, you can pack your shit and get all the way the fuck up on out of here, because all you've done this season was waste my fucking money.
Well, I'll tell you what. Now, Scott, I had something to say to you, and I completely forgot because
we did sign Jacoby Brissett. Just saying,
we did, right, yeah. But anyway,
what I said,
he's trash. He was signed to be fucking waste of space.
I know what you mean.
What I asked you about
signed to be the clipboard holder.
The air that I breathe. That's the only reason why he was signed.
Why? What I asked
you, Jacoby Brissett is an oxygen thief.
Ron can't be this dense. Is this entire thing about Sam Howell's on the team? Is this all just a load of shit? I mean, did they have a plan and he just doesn't want to take credit for it?
No.
He fell over him in the dark.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think that Ron was the right man at the right time. Still believe that. Did he change the culture? Quite possibly. Yeah, he did. He brought in he brought in a winning culture.
Respectability
we were able to attract high fucking class free agents like Nick Gates.
Two seconds. But
I don't think we're taking into consideration how bad this.
No, I know
exactly. It was a fucking cesspit from start to finish. We were a laughing stock. It's a cesspit. We're still a bit of a laughing stock, but we're not. We're a middling team. He's turned us into a middling team, which is always the case.
We were a middling team under Jay Gruden.
Come on.
We were.
Yes, we were.
3-14 not a middling team.
7-win team for how long now?
No, I know that, but his record as a head coach is abysmal. He's been to a Super Bowl once with a Cam Newton, who was a number 1 overall draft pick. He has 3 winning seasons in 13. He is not a guy, and he's also not a GM. But he's brought in people around him who are not GMs.
I want to say something. Just what Scotty said before I forget it.
Right.
In everything that Scott said is 100% true. But if you look at Bill Belichick now, everybody thinks, including myself, he's probably the greatest coach to ever, step on the football field.
Maybe.
Arguably, I think we should all agree with that. It just goes to show stumbled into a 5th round quarterback. I don't think there was a plan. Who has a plan for a 5th round quarterback?
Nobody does.
It doesn't. You hope they developed into something, but you're not betting on the shit. You're just not. But obviously, he fell into it. Good, great, grand, wonderful. Should he get a pat on the back for that? I don't think so. But we did draft him.
You turn it into 6 Super Bowls, I'll pat him on his butt. I'll tell you that.
And it just goes to show you how fucking difficult it is in the NFL, even coaches. That's why there's so many coaches changes every single year, because you don't find your fucking quarterback.
What you just said, I think it says a lot, and I completely forgot what the fuck it was, because that's how it's been going for me today. So let me ask you this: have you noticed in his press conferences that one of Ron's eyes is like way up high like this nowadays?
Yeah,
He's aged a lot.
one's at the shop. One's at the shop. The other one's getting the change. It's
Is that what
always
it is?
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's essentially Jeff Fisher right now of coaches.
Good God,
He is.
I would
He
like
is the Jeff
He
Fisher.
is.
That's
I would say
that's a
this to
great
Josh
shout,
500,
Steve.
515 for Ron Rivera,
Yeah.
512 for Jeff Fisher. It is almost identical to the
Jeff
T.
Fisher is one loss away from being the worst head coach in history. He's tied, and please, somebody give him a job and let him lose a fucking game so that he can be the number one loser of all
He
time.
coached for 22 years somehow. Don't ask me how he kept the
I
job.
have no idea.
Probably, I just think
was,
it's because
was Ron not on his staff in San Diego though?
Jeff Fisher? No, Ron came from
yeah,
the
was
Andy Reid staff.
Yeah, I was going to say, was he not with Jeff Fisher at some point?
Because Ron left Philly to go to the Chargers. He became the defensive coordinator from the Chargers, right?
That's
He was a defensive coordinator, and that's when Norv was the coach, right?
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
And then he brought Norv back in. So
the
incest continued.
Film, there was Ron Rivera standing on the sidelines. He had his arms all folded up like this. I said, gosh, he looks pretty strong over there. I figured he might know how to throw a flag or something or call a timeout. But turns out doesn't really know how to do that. He's going to hire my son one day.
I'll say this. You can be a great coach and not have a quarterback and not win, and you can be a okay coach and have a quarterback and win. That's just that's the life of the NFL.
Right there, I had Phillip Rivers, and all I could do was turn him into nothing but garbage. Let me tell you something. People always talked about Phillip Rivers.
They still won though.
Went back for touchdowns. Nobody ever talked about all the interceptions Phillip threw that didn't go back for a touchdown. People always look at the negatives.
Ron he reverse engineered a team. Most people find their quarterback in year 1, year 2. Yeah. He just found a Band-Aid every year. And as a defensive head coach, like you can't
not for the lack of trying, though. Not for the lack of trying.
Right. But what he tried, I don't think he tried. He tried with consolation prizes with Ryan Fitzpatrick, with Carson.
He didn't try with Matt Stafford.
26 million on Carson Wentz. 26 million.
Those were second. He threw a shitload of stuff over to the Lions to try to get Stafford, and he took LA.
But he drafted Jamin Davis at 19 when you could have got a back. You know what
Ron's
I mean? Like,
problem was he bit off more than he could chew. Straight up. I mean, to take on the whole entire football operation, which he's not smart enough to do that.
To be fair, it saved us from having Dan find somebody to do it.
Well, that's true, but I mean, results the same.
All right, well, let's do some true or false here. I think I'll go with our thing here, since I've actually found a spot where I could do it. And Keith, are you ready to be on the show, or are you done fucking around with everything?
I don't know what you're doing.
First of all, sir, I'm trying to fix my podcast spot here.
Oh,
okay, professional podcast. And I want to act like
professionals always do that during the show.
It's a Wizard podcast now, Keith. I got my Wizard's hat on. It's
you
Wizard
got
podcast.
your Wizard's hat. I came to the right podcast.
Keith also doesn't like Thanksgiving.
All right.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We will get into that for sure. All right, we will start with our esteemed guest. All right, so Steve, here's how this goes. I say true or false. I give you a statement, whether it's anything reasonable or not, true or false, and then you can expound on the answer, or you can throw it over to somebody else.
Go figure, Steve. Hope you can handle that.
I mean, hey, I got
Friday.
We got people out there in the audience, for Christ's sakes. You know what?
I have 2
Yam
beverages.
is sitting over there. Yam's got some little Japanese girl sitting
Hey,
next to him.
Steve, this is how we do it. I ask a question and I say true or false. You give me an answer.
All right, let's go.
Hang on a second here. I gotta tell you, Keith. You know something? I get my lessons straight from fucking Wink Martindale. I know how to run a goddamn game show. So
you got to remember, Keith. You got to remember, Keith. I did move an army vet as well here. So come on now.
All right, Steve. True or false? Bill Belichick will be our next head coach.
False.
Thank God.
We don't need that dinosaur on this team. I don't care. You need an offensive minded coach, whether it's Eric Bieniemy or somebody else. Offensive guy. Don't give me a defensive guy. I think we're good at that department.
All right. Okay. So let's see. Scott. Ron Rivera spends most of his day napping in his office.
Absolutely true. 100%.
How many hours out of say 10?
That's why his eyes like that, because he was his face was on the pillow and he got the wrinkles on it.
He clocks in for a 10-hour day, does 6. He's got a lazy boy. All good.
All right. Jessy, Jack Del Rio actually does think that Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne are having a good season.
I want to say true, even though I think we all know the real story about that.
How could he think that? I mean, that's the thing about that. That whole answer that he gave.
I mean, is he just backing up his players? Do you think that?
Yeah,
you know,
I think there's nothing wrong with that. But you could also, I mean, dude, there's been other times where he's been very critical of players, and there he is.
There he is.
You know, I mean,
this is fitting now.
Look at that eye.
Partner here. Let's go.
Looks like fitting. Big Bird.
I'll stand to the side so Ron and I can participate there.
He's got a huge right nostril too. I never noticed that before.
My God, Ron, you are all disproportionate. I tell you what, Steve, you are welcome on this show anytime. Let's see, where were we with that? Oh, you know, that's the thing. He's called out Jamin Davis, asked him he needs to play a little better, and you know, you can say things without harming your players. You can say, well, you know, we could use a little bit better up front and not necessarily call out names, but good God, those guys are having bad years, and not just to your eye, but to the statistics too. They're not playing very well.
I mean, that's straight up. I mean, we all can see it. It's at times you see them just get manhandled at the line, and it's not like they're getting double teamed all the time. I mean, I've seen John Allen pancaked more times than I could ever remember.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
I think Deron Payne quantum leaped to a different team. He's fucking missing. I don't know.
That show's back, by the way. It's back on.
I like it.
Yeah,
Is it really?
yeah.
Yes. I like the old school one.
We know Allen's been dealing with that plantar fasciitis.
Right.
Maybe that has something to do with it, but that doesn't give
It's
that
awful.
excuse to
dealing with it now.
I've dealt with it. I've dealt with it forever. Yeah, it is. But that doesn't give that excuse to Payne. Does Payne have a nagging injury too? I mean, we've never seen him on the.
No, he just got
but
back
that looks like double team him. Now that's something I haven't really
got-
paid attention to. Steve, have you been watching any film? Have you noticed there's been more doubles on Payne because Allen's been easier to handle?
I haven't watched any film to make a fair assessment, so I'm going to say he's just underperforming. There we go.
I tell you what, man, I should ask the film guy with the Wizards hat on. All right, so Keith. The culture is better since Ron got here, and it's largely due to him. You can continue on with that. He looks like fucking Stretch Armstrong from one of those TV commercials when I was a kid. Look at him there. Look, kid, you can pull it every which way.
His arm looks so fucking long.
I bet you can, John, and I bet you Keith's good at pulling it every which way as well.
Oh, I'm sure he is. Well, it's we've got
What
film.
was the question?
The question was, what is Scotty actually doing there? All right. The question was that the culture is better since Ron got here, and it is largely due to him. It's a stubborn. I need some time music. It's a true fault. Flip a fucking coin.
True.
Okay.
True. He's made things better in this organization.
More professional, I think.
More professional, yes. He what he brought was validity again to an organization that didn't have any, and he is well liked because he is a good human. He's a good person, so I do believe that goes a long way. But my answer still remains the same. Your culture is only good if you win, and we haven't been doing that. So you see what happens when we don't win. Guys are getting traded off. Guys aren't happy here. There's a lot to still be said that I don't think guys are talking about. Chase Young tried to run off to San Francisco and say a few things, but I could tell that he's holding back. I don't think that locker room is exactly what we think it is on the outside. I think I don't think that these guys hate each other by any means, but I think that these guys are extremely frustrated and aggravated.
I think they're getting tired of the same old. I agree
Correct.
with you.
And instead of
Correct.
saying, we have to do better as coaches and put our players in position to win, what do they say? Well, we need everyone to do their job. If everyone did their job, we would just say we got to be better as coaches and and take the shots in the face for your friends. Oh, they do your job.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that perfectly said, because I haven't really heard any coaching accountability really whatsoever. I have from EB on certain things. But when it comes to Ron, there's been no coaching accountability, and that's another reason why I'm pissed off. Like, bro, not one time has he come out and said, "Man, I fucked up." But just swallow your ego and just say it. I fucked up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't call this. I didn't make this happen at this time. And listen, these grown ass men players, like, they're tired of the shit. And so, things will eventually start to break down in the locker room. in that sense. And that's what's happening now. And then what happens, right? We bring in a new coach next year. It's just the same old fucking hoopla all over again. And I'm not saying the next coach won't be successful, but coach is going to come in, the fan base and the players are going to all do that exciting bullshit. And then, if in 2-3 years things don't change, it's just right back to the same vicious cycle, man. It sucks being a fan of this team. It does.
Completely agree with you, Keith. I think, though, that the biggest thing now is for us to not necessarily get the head coach sorted. It's about making sure we appoint the correct GM. This is the biggest thing. The biggest thing that Josh Harris and his group have to do that will solidify this team for the next 5 to 10 years.
Don't
get him in and let him choose who the head coach is. And if that's who the new GM chooses, live and die by the sword. But it has to be that.
And Josh Harris is known for that. That's how he builds his NBA
I just
team.
hope he doesn't think this is the NBA, man.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like,
one guy can.
He lets his GM do the job, and that's why I don't believe any of this Bill Belichick nonsense.
I was gonna say, Keith, what's your? So you're up there. You're in Sixers territory. They just shipped off, Harden.
Oh, they're mad because he owns the fucking Commanders now, the Washington team. That's why they're fucking mad.
So here's my take on ownership. First of all, I personally don't like the fact that he owns the 76ers. I know that he's going to be able to separate the two, but I personally don't like it. Philadelphia and DC, they've been like, to me, I see a conflict of interest, but the only reason why I'm letting this slide is because it is obviously football versus basketball, right? So what I'm doing is giving this ownership the benefit of the doubt before I start throwing out my dumb takes about how it's a conflict of interest.
Okay,
so
that's
what
fair.
I don't want is an NBA player, and I need this fan base to stop thinking that Magic Johnson is going to have any word whatsoever to what goes down in this organization.
You read his tweets.
Let me remind people.
That's how he
remind people. Magic Johnson has $250. Now they're $250 rich dollars, but he has $250 invested in this team. I don't want to see his smiling face, smiling around, smiling and tweeting, because he thinks he has the answers. Bro,
Sam Howell had a good game.
Listen, I don't want to hear it. He came onto this team because he can be a face, a smiling face, for the community of Washington, for the DMV, and so on and so on. But if that man is making personnel decisions, the only fucking decision I want to see from that guy is that he's bringing James Harden's fat ass as a left tackle to block. Okay?
No, I don't want that guy anywhere near us. For Christ's sakes, could you imagine the person has to clean out his goddamn chin strap? All right, Steve, true or false? Commanders will make the playoffs.
False. We will finish right under the cusp and get that 17 through 20th pick.
No.
We're right where we're out of the
11 to 14. That's what you got.
So
11 to 14.
I think we'll finish with 7 or 8 wins, just enough to get out of a.
I see maybe 2 more wins on the docket, and we might surprise Dallas, at the end of the season or something like that. Maybe they don't got enough to
win
play
this week
for, but. Listen,
false. We will not make the playoffs.
We should win this game 31-10, but it won't surprise me. It's 17-18.
All right, I got 2 more things here for true or false. Scott, we will noticeably miss Antonio Gibson on Sunday.
No, it's false.
No,
false. I don't think we will.
Who are they bringing up? They're gonna go with C-Rod. They signed a running back this week, didn't they?
I don't know, John. I haven't seen any transactions this week, but I don't think we will miss him because I think it'll be a heavy dose of B-Rob out of the backfield and through the running game. And I think it'll probably end up with 40 passes against 20 runs, probably. It'll be a 2-to-1 ratio. It's kind of where it's going to be this weekend. And take it
if
from
we
there.
ran ball 20 times, man, that's true. That's positively fucking Chuck Knox down there. Of course, no one knows who that is.
Yeah, I'm with Scotty. I think the role that Gibson has, I think Samuel can fill that at times. But Brian Robinson has exceeded my expectations in the passing game, and it'll be good to get Rodriguez a few more carries.
He breaks tackles. All right, Keith, true or false? A Thanksgiving turkey touched you in a dirty place.
False.
False.
Look at that. Look at
that. Look at it. You're looking at it, aren't you?
It looks dry as hell.
Hell yeah, it does. That
you got it because you got to put you got to moisten it in the right.
That doesn't look dry to me.
So overrated.
All turkey's dry.
Oh yeah, all turkey's dry. I don't want to hear any. Everyone's like, "You've never had my turkey. Your family can't cook." No, turkey is gross, dude.
I'll eat dark meat, but white meat, get that shit away from me.
Like I'll eat it, but Thanksgiving
Tastes
food
like cardboard and chalk.
overrated. Like who the fuck sits down at dinner and is like, you know what? I can't wait to dip into this green bean casserole. Fuck out of here, bro. That shit's disgusting.
Yeah, but then you also have. I mean, we eat black pudding, so I can't really talk here. So you know what I mean, and offal in haggis and stuff like that. Awful. But you have things like.
I'm surprised we even have Thanksgiving. Didn't we slaughter pilgrims or something?
Like, dude, what's that?
Indigenous people's holiday.
Slaughtered pilgrims for 3 or 4 years.
What's that stuff with marshmallows in it that you have all the time?
I don't know.
Yams. That's a good one. Yams are good.
Okay, they are. They got to be done right.
Jessy, I saw your tweet, and it does sound pretty good.
It is really good.
But I can't eat it though, because I mean I live that healthy lifestyle. You know, I mean
that's right.
I don't even make turkey anymore. I make beer can chicken or a prime rib, something else. Because turkey's just.
I will doing a turducken. Duck's
okay.
Good. Duck is really good. It's really good. It's
greasy. Plus, duck has a personality. I don't want to eat a duck.
I ate it from a Chinese takeaway.
As usual, we are way off the fucking rails.
Anyway,
who gives a shit? All right, let's do some X factors. We got a game with the Giants coming up. I'll tell you what. We'll start up here with Keith, and give me an X factor of what you think is going to be integral to the game, not necessarily a key to the game, but somebody who's got to step up or a situation that's got to stand out for you in this game. X factor.
Who's the X factor?
Well, maybe hopefully our defense walks on the field and actually breathes.
Okay, well that's a good one.
Yeah.
X
factor. All right, Steve, how about you? Give me an X factor for the game.
100% same thing. I don't want to be lame, but I'm with Keith. The Giants are the 32nd. They are last in the NFL in scoring with 118 points. Last in the NFL in yardage, 25.92. This defense should drag their ass all over the field. That's the X factor. Man. Just show up. Be medium. Just be average.
Stay there
in this game.
Stand there. That should do it. I'll tell you what. That word "should" it comes up so often, especially in conjunction with these Giants games. All right, Scott, give me an X factor.
Logan Thomas is the X factor on offense. I think he's going to be 50 yards and a touchdown. I think that's kind of where we need to see him. Also, my fantasy team this week for that reason, because I know he's going to do well in the red zone. And you're right. I'm not going to stick away from it. You two have nailed it. It's about Jonathan Allen. It's about Daron Payne. It's about showing up. It's about seeing Casey Tuhill coming off the edge. We need sacks. 1 sack since Chase and obviously Sweat got traded. Is not good enough. I know we got one robbed from us, but it's still not good enough. Even 2 isn't really good. Jamin Davis, you could say as well. X factor, maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Jamin Davis?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
David Mayo.
With Saquon Barkley, being healthy, needs some speed on the edge. So yeah, I think Jamin. Benjamin St. Juice. I gave him a lot of shit after.
It was that last drive
game. Yeah, it was. It was just bad. I mean, he was bad.
Last drive, yeah.
He's got to play better. Straight up, Benjamin St. Juice. He's not guarding anybody with a big name, but he's still got to come up better and stop having stupid penalties at stupid times in the game.
I think that maybe if Forbes doesn't get thrown out of the game this week, that'll help mitigate that.
So stupid. God, man.
All right.
Speaking of that, I like what Jack Del Rio said about.
I did too.
Forbes. I appreciate him going out. He probably he's going to get fined, which what fucking NFL does. But him saying that is some dude sitting in an air conditioner room, ejected him. It was right. It's just bullshit.
And he's right. And I tell you what, I'm like 90% convinced that they might not have thrown him out if after the obvious and egregious penalty, he didn't turn around and do the stupid fucking lockdown thing. And I bet they went, okay, that's icing on the cake. You're out of here. That's just my opinion.
I think that's what did it.
He did that, or I thought that was St. Juice.
No, he did it. He stood right up after. He did that, and I'm like,
he took St. Juice's move and did it.
Yep, he did it. So My X factor for the game is Terry McLaurin. Dude, it is time for a Terry McLaurin 140-yard, 2-touchdown. I own this fucking place game. We haven't seen one this year. We've seen plays. We've seen halves.
I don't think he's hit 100 yards this year.
I don't think anybody. Yeah, no, I don't think he has. I know we haven't hit a 100-yard rusher this year, but I want to see Terry McLaurin step in, take over this game, be the number one wide receiver. I'm not complaining about what he's been doing. I think he's been kind of game planned out of things.
Well, Sam spreads it around a lot. Too.
Sam does. He really does. But I want to see Terry McLaurin early, often, and in the end zone.
I got a question for all you guys.
All right. Speaking for all those guys.
And it's a serious question. I know I haven't been serious anytime I'm ever on here, but say we do get this win, right? And all these X factors come into play. What does that do for you guys?
Nothing. I don't think anybody's going to pay us for our opinions.
No.
Well,
I don't mean
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, Keith.
Can you walk away from a win and walk away from these your X factors to playing out and say, man, we've got something here?
No, not against this team.
It's about this whole the rest of the season. Like we've said, it seems like 100 times. This is about the progression of Sam Howell, and if Eric Bieniemy could possibly turn into a head coach, and they're still going to need a defense to show up, to help them in that factor to limit points. I mean, that's what it's all about. We're fans. We want this team to win. I mean, anybody rooting for your team to lose for draft position, I'm sorry, I'm not with it.
So I agree with you 100% there, right? But I think that we also forget the fact that fans can just say, you know what, I don't really fucking care if they win or lose.
Well, like
you, honest.
Sure.
And honestly, that's where my mindset is. Like, I'm not losing sleep over this shit.
No.
I was happy to sell my Giants ticket.
See, for me, it's a matter of the word should. Okay, we should beat this team, and usually when we should beat somebody, we don't. And that to me it's a corner we haven't turned yet. And if we go up and we beat the Giants on Sunday, then okay, I wouldn't say we've turned the corner, but at least we took a step in the right direction and did something that we are expected to do by taking care of our week.
And plus, it just puts me in a better fucking mood.
Bang on.
Yeah.
Bang on.
I mean, John, to your point, John, the games we should have won, we lost.
Yeah,
I know.
And look, and we are where we are. The next 3 home games, the Dolphins, the Niners, and the Cowboys, we should lose those games. So it's like, why? Like he's saying, why? Okay, we're 5-6 after this. We still got to face those 3 teams.
Oh, you're right.
And then the Rams and the Jets. But it's like, what does that do for you? It's a tough question. It doesn't. Yes, we all want to win, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't do anything except lower your draft. You're
right, especially at this juncture of the season, because the playoffs are really kind of a wisp at this moment. You're not mathematically eliminated, but it's going to take a lot. So, yeah, you're right. For me, on saying something like I just said of like, okay, we should beat this team, and we went and did it. That's a team building thing. But is this team going to be worth building? What's going to happen?
Depends how you win too. Depends how you win.
Yeah, I'll put it. Okay, you just took.
Sorry, Jess.
No. It's how they win. Say they go up and they win 31-10. All right. Thanksgiving Day comes around. We fucking go into we go into Dallas. We're like, look, hey, it's for one, it's something for us to talk about, and two, hey, is it a chance that we could squeak out and go steal one in Dallas, and then you're right fucking back at it again. That's just being a fan. That's that's just part of the ups and downs of a season, and just unfortunately we have a lot more downs than ups, and hopefully we can have some more ups because I don't want to fucking lose. No one wants to fucking lose.
I'm with you, Keith. Totally with you. I understand exactly where you're coming from. I've got the same thing with my other passionate team that I follow, which is a rugby team. They lost again tonight. That's 18 losses on the bounce. I'm checked out. I'm done. It's no different. So I'm with you. Exactly. I know how you feel. It's just it's the fucking point.
I'll say this. If we do lose this game, I'll be hard pressed to fucking do 4 goddamn podcasts a goddamn week. I'm with you.
If we lose this game, does Ron need to be on the first train back to wherever he's from?
Yeah,
heads should need to roll. I think
definitely need to roll.
Do you know what's really interesting with this though? If they do lose, this is the perfect time to do it because you've got the bye coming up, haven't you? And you've got.
What if they lose because Sam has 5 interceptions? What if they lose because Sam has a day where he's just off?
I don't care.
He has that rookie day. Then you're kind of like, oh shit, now what do we do?
Yeah.
No, blame your coach. That's what we do.
I don't think you can really fire. I mean, you might be able to fire a defensive coordinator, but you got to 4 days before your next game. I think it's kind of a rough spot to get rid of somebody. So, but I think a head or two will roll if we do lose Sunday.
I don't know.
We're not going to do that though.
I don't think no one gets let go. I think they're going to ride it out all season. They're going to let Ron Rivera walk out with pride, and it's time to move on.
Yeah,
and
I don't think the new ownership.
At this point, I don't see any. Unless someone brought up a point, I'm just kind of like, whatever, bro. This bro don't even like to run the ball. But well, let's give EB a test run. At what? He don't run nothing. He throws. So we're going to give him a test throw. And I know it seems so hypocritical to say that because what was it? Was it a couple years ago, 3, 4, 5? I'm just throwing years out there. Weren't we begging for more passing? Like we weren't really getting that. And now that we are, and now we're back to running. But I think what a lot of people need to understand is I don't personally, for me, I don't know how you guys feel. I won't speak for you. I don't care that we throw the ball as much as that we do. I actually like it. I think it's more exciting to the game. But what EB fails on is situational runs. My man should not be in a 3rd and 2 and
4th and 1.
I'm sorry.
Especially when you need to burn clock.
Why are we calling this? We've got a guy in the backfield that can drag players. Like, I'm not saying that we're going to convert every single time we run, but it just, to me, there's just play calling in games that just really don't make sense to me.
Running establishes an attitude. Exactly what you're talking about. To be able to say,
left jab. It's a left jab in boxing. That's what it is.
Right. You need it. You're exactly
I just get mad at the situational play calling. I don't think it's all that.
Yep.
And I don't think that EB can't head coach. I don't know if
who knows.
I just want him to concentrate and get better at being an offensive coordinator.
I think what he's done is help make Sam Howell successful, but also when you're throwing 50 a game and you haven't had a bye week, of course you're going to be a leading fucking passer in the league. Like, I don't take these stats, and I'm not like walking out with accolades, but what I do like is when I hear fans from other fan bases around my local area talking about our quarterback.
Dude, I was walking around Charlotte last week, and people were coming up to me. I was wearing my Commander's kit. Hey, man, Sam Howell. They're giving me all kinds of dap.
People are taking Sam Howell, man, and that's what I do like about this season, and honestly is the only thing that has salvaged it for me. But we can't get crazy into thinking that he's our franchise guy. We've been through this shit before, and we would be fucking silly as hell to think that this guy's going to be running our team for the next 5 to 10 years.
I just want to point out for the record that I use the phrase "dapping me up." My son's so proud of me.
No, I'm with you, Keith. I know so many people want to crown Sam the future, and I have hope that he is. I think he very well might be. I'm just not.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm not, Tony Romo over there.
I am not putting the gas pedal all the way to the metal yet.
Well, I'll do that next season. I'll do that next season because now, like I said, all year with this guy is we're kind of letting him slide on his mistakes, so to speak, because I like the way that
been few and far between.
Well, and the mistakes that he has, he responds back to them. It doesn't phase him, and that's a check mark in my box to have
resiliency.
Right. To have
when he turns the ball over, he tends to come back with a touchdown.
He does. He follows up his mistakes, and he does well, and I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and I can appreciate that because a lot of quarterbacks just don't have that mental capacity to be able to do that. Or
you remember Kirk Cousins when he threw a damn interception? It was like the world was fucking
right. You could tell he was going to crumble.
The
thing I noticed the most on Sunday was how unflappable he was. I mean, the crowd noise. I had a lot of people tell me at Virginia Tech. He told me that was the loudest place around, and that prepared him. It wasn't even that. It's when he's sitting on the bench and it's like 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and the game is like this, and he's just sitting there like it's nothing. He's completely as cool as can be. Like it could be just a walk in the park for him. I really like that. All right, so let's start with some keys to the game. Steve, give me a key to victory.
Key to victory, we kind of already said it. It's the defense coming up and playing as they should. This is a horrible offense. You're going against Tommy DeVito. His mom makes him chicken cutlets, folds his laundry, makes his bed. He's off the street. He lives with his mom.
Where's the meatloaf?
Meatloaf.
Meatloaf.
His dad's running a bodega, chop cheese every 2 seconds.
Oh shit! Go ahead.
The defense just needs to be present. Just be in
show
the
up.
moment. Just be in the moment with us. Be in this moment with us.
All right.
And that's it. That's the key to the game.
Scott, give me a key to the game.
Yeah, key to the game is as exactly as Steve said. It's the defense has got to show up here. We need sacks and we need a lot of them as well. Turnovers, all that sort of stuff. You need to see the defense. If you don't prepare and you don't win against this team on defense, this is going to be a struggle.
All right, Jesse, be a little more specific. Let's get a key to the game.
This is the key to the game is Eric Bieniemy versus Wink Martindale. I don't think this team is going to score a whole bunch of points on us, even with our porous defense. It's all about how EB responds for getting because his play calling, his game plan was piss poor. I mean, that was a bad plan coming into this game. So I think Sam Howell, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about the play calling and playing to protect Sam Howell.
Who will win, Wink Martindale or Eric Bieniemy? Find out Sunday on Fox.
Jesus, John.
I know, I can't help it. All right, Keith, give me a key to the game.
Yeah, if we don't beat a third string quarterback,
that's not a key. That's a threat.
No, that's whatever you want to call it. Then this team needs to pack it up, and I can guarantee you, I won't come on any episode for the rest of the season. Y'all are on your own.
It was a threat until you said that, and then they're like, "Fuck, who cares?"
Yeah, now you got people who are like, "Damn, I hope we lose now."
All right, I'll give you a specific key. Look, man, Deron Payne. Jonathan Allen, your coach went to bat for you this week, said, I'll watch film with you. No, you won't. And you can't tell me what's good because you ain't seeing much. Okay, if you like your coach, all right, and everybody talks to me about how Jack Del Rio, you can only make the coaches coach and players have to play. So play. I want to see it out of these two guys in the middle. I want to see it out of these two guys in the middle. I want to see that pocket collapse on this linguine-eating motherfucker, and I want to watch him down on the bottom of the pile going, hey, Ma, how come what's going on down here? That's what I want. All right.
Well,
at the bottom of the Hudson, man, you be careful.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Sleep with the fishes.
No, anything like that. I want him to come out of this game with a nose a little more crooked than he's got. How about that? And I wanted Deron Payne. So anyway, is that all we got? Oh, we got to come up with score predictions. So Steve, give me a score prediction.
24-16, Washington.
Man, that's kind of light.
Yeah, 24-16. The over-under is 37, I think, give or take. I think we'll hit the over.
9.5. Is that what it is?
I saw 8.5, depending on which, but on DraftKings it's 8.5, 37. So I think we'll hit the over, and I think the I can't even do the math, but I think the Giants will cover the 8.5 point spread. I think they will cover. We tend to play down to our competition.
24-16's 8.
Yep. Yeah. So I think they'll cover and we win.
Yeah, what about you? Score prediction. Now, this is the fun part, Steve. Watch this. Scotty actually, he fucking actually tries to see the fucking score. He's going to sit here and try to, he'll finagle it out. Yeah, I know what it's going to be. Go ahead. What's our score?
It's going to be 24-9 Commanders.
9. Woo! All right.
Only giving up 9. We're only giving 3 field goals. That's it.
You know what? I'll do my impression.
What's
her name? Cynthia Freeland on NFL Network. Every time you ask her the score prediction, it's going to be 23-18. It's always some fucking weird ass number like that she's got. I don't know where she comes up with half that shit. All right, Jesse, give me a score prediction.
I'm going to go 16-17 Giants.
Wow, Giants!
So you forced a fart out of Scotty. Look at that.
We're going to blow it. I'm sorry. I just don't have a whole lot of faith in Bieniemy. I don't.
All right. Well, that's terrible. That's just terrible. 16.
And FanDuel has this at 9.5 with over under 37.5. Yeah.
You know, DeVito does that. He'll be standing he'll be out there in the freaking middle. Adrian, that doesn't won the football game. That Rocky was from Philadelphia.
Hello, yeah.
He was from Philadelphia. Whatever. All right, Keith, give me a score prediction.
80-3 Giants.
Oh, there you go. 80-3 to the Giants. He's banking heavy on Wink Martindale there. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. There he is.
80-3. Wow.
Look at that.
That dude kind of looks like a Tom Brady. If you kind of a little bit,
you just need to get you need to put a butthole in his chin, and it'll be
He
Tom.
does. Oh my God, that's funnier than shit. Look at his hair, though. I just kind of like that. All right. Anyway,
John, what are you going for? What's your prediction?
42-10. The Commanders win convincingly. 42-10. Yeah, why not? What the fuck? It's fucking DeVito. He's going to be laying under the ground. Go, you guys broke my hand. What you done to my foot? Look at that.
Matt Barkley in the third quarter. Is that what you're going for?
All right, I gotta go.
He'll be all right. See you later. Have a good time.
See you, Keith. Nice
He'll
to see
be
you,
leading at halftime, and then fucking DeVito's uncle will come in the locker room and go,
Hey, listen here. You losing this game, right, Ron? You're losing this game. Like we talked about. You're losing this game, right?
So yeah, no. All right, so that's what we got. I'm picking us with a big win. Jesse picks us to lose. Steve picks us with a marginal win, and Scott, he's just hoping for his 7-10 prediction to come true.
Yeah, absolutely. 7-10 is where we'll finish. That is exactly where we'll finish.
Hey, with all these quarterback injuries and injuries all around the NFC, there's going to be a team with a losing record in that 7.
Dude, aren't you so fucking happy that the NFL spent 20 years juicing the goddamn rules so we have to play absolutely ridiculous defensive football to protect all these quarterbacks that get fucking hurt anyway?
Yeah.
I swear to God.
It's pretty. It seems like
Burrow's out, isn't he?
Yeah, it seems like
none of it helps anybody.
The injuries are so much more than they used to be.
It's not so much that. It's always been a game of attrition. But, nowadays, they don't wear any pads. They've taken it to the point where these guys are like, oh, fuck it. They're not allowed to touch me. And they don't wear any pads. So, yeah, when they get knocked down, they get hurt. Quarterbacks play a rough game. They get hurt. You can try to protect them. We all know when we see the foul. All right. We can sit there and watch our TVs. And the ones that are actual fouls, all of us know it. Immediately, we know it. There's other ones that we don't want to be fouls, but we go, oh, bad call or whatever like that. But we know it. But the things that they've done to try to protect quarterbacks, it doesn't work. And then this thing with Mark Andrews the other night, did you see the tackle?
Oh, yeah.
So as soon as it happens, who is it? Fucking Kirk Herbstreit's on there. Well, that's another tackle. They're going to want to take out of the league, the hip drag. And I'm like, what the fuck are they going to do now? How are you going to tackle anybody now?
It's going to be two-hand touch for too long.
It's a rough game, NFL.
I mean, the fact that they kicked out Forbes within a minute of that hit versus with Kareem Jackson, the guy who laid out
4 games.
Logan Thomas on the opening versus the Bills. 4 games. That's insane. Like, where's the parity? Where's the level set?
Well, the fact was Kareem kept hitting people. It wasn't just Thomas.
He did it to Jacoby Myers from the Raiders as well.
Right. Week after week after week. And so that's when they say, but yeah, I guess Forbes, hey, that guy weighs all of 110 pounds soaking wet. He might have hurt somebody out there. Get the fuck out of here.
A little mosquito bite buzzing around, biting
you. The person on the goddamn in the entire stadium that could have possibly cried after that was Tyler Lockett.
Did y'all see RG3's
sign me up for the Browns, coach? Run a 4.3 still.
After 8 years, I finally learned how to slide. Get the fuck out of here!
Learned how to play quarterback? No, I don't think so.
Well, he also said I learned 5 offenses in 6 years. I mentored Lamar Jackson. I can mentor DTR. I can mentor
Watson was just a game manager. I can manage a game.
I will say
but the thing is, though, have you seen who they are getting in? Have you seen who they are getting in?
They tried out Flacco and they said they're not going to sign him. They're not going to sign him. It's on Twitter now.
I thought he did say
they're not going to sign him.
Yeah.
I remember Randall Cunningham was in the studio, and that's when the Vikings signed him. And that motherfucker took him to the NFC Championship game. So, of course, he had Randy Moss and Chris Carter. But, it's not unheard of except for the one thing, and that was Randall Cunningham could play quarterback, and RG3 really can't. So I'm of the thinking that in the NFL, quarterback is such a rare commodity that it never is missed. Talent is never missed. Yeah. Okay. You can't just sit there and say, I should be a starting quarterback. No, you aren't, Uncle Rico. Go throw your fucking football over the mountain because you can't play. All right. You fall to exactly where you belong. And within 2 years after leaving us, he was a 3rd string quarterback. And that's what he is.
They should go get either Colt McCoy Matt Ryan. I can't think of anyone else. Those
Matt
two.
Ryan.
Maybe Cam Newton if you get a hair up your butt, but
Ben Roethlisberger.
PJ Walker, man. Fuck it. He won a game for him.
Yeah, it's true.
They got a defense. That's what they're resting on. I don't think that Deshaun Watson hasn't been what has made them the record that they are. It's their defense. So
could be down to the biggest bungle in NFL history trades. Could be.
Yeah.
That's such a bad trade. Such a bad trade.
Well, it would be even a worse trade for us to trade for Bill Belichick, which I think is an absolute.
Oh, come on now.
I think it's funny that the odds-on favorite now are us, and people are like, that means something. No, it doesn't. It just means that Vegas thinks they can take your money. That's what they think. They think they see the mark, and it's you.
That's right.
Do you think he ends up at the Chargers?
I think he retires.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Okay. He wants to continue coaching. He's going to the Chargers.
71 years old, man.
And his girlfriend's only like 40.
How old? Yeah, but how old is Pete Carroll? And he's still doing it.
Yeah, there's a bit of a difference, though. I mean, I don't know.
Pete Carroll's a good coach. Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
I don't know. I have no idea what he's going to do. I just hope he doesn't come with us. That would smell like Dan all over the place.
Pete Carroll's 72, Scott.
Oh, okay, there you go. Good.
But
chat.
that gum keeps him about 62.
He's got the energy of a 40-year-old, though. I tell you, he is there.
He works the shit out of that. I noticed last week that he didn't have any in the second half. I think somebody might have got fired.
So, Steve,
yes,
what would you think of Jim Harbaugh?
I wouldn't mind Jim Harbaugh. He's an offensive-minded coach.
I like
offensive-minded coach, and that's my criteria.
He's
I wouldn't mind Harbaugh.
It's a big splash. The owner's going to want to make a big splash. They're not going to bring some upcoming dude. And Jim Harbaugh fits that category perfectly. Yeah. And college coaches leave college when they get caught up in a scandal.
That's what they do. As an NFL coach,
he did.
I don't like the idea of bringing a college coach to the NFL because they fail so often.
Yeah.
But Harbaugh, he was successful in the NFL with the 49ers.
He was he brought that team back from a shithole. Yeah. Yeah, he was. Yeah, no, I think, I like Ben Johnson, but I think Harbaugh's probably number one on my list, I think, of coaches that I'd like to see here.
Yeah, I'd
Eric
take
Fisher,
Harbaugh.
head coach.
Eric Fisher. All right, what do we got left?
Jeff Fisher.
Close out with?
Jeff Fisher.
Iron or lose one game just so I can be satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. Gone.
We should have, if I'd have had time today.
Interim head coach is what I'm saying. 2
Maybe
weeks
by
time.
Monday. We might have some live reports on Monday from Clarissa Thompson. So we'll see how that goes. Boy, I tell you what, I stood up a morning that's today with that shit. I said,
making up on the spot.
Oh, I said, who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah, who cares?
Who gives a fuck? And all these people, well, she's a journalist. I'm like, no, she's not. She's on the sidelines. And okay, it's not like real news. Okay, don't conflate sports and this stuff that actually costs people their lives. She's on the sidelines. And this nothing interview running into the trot-off interview is the most worthless. I hate that thing more than anything. When the NFL started doing it, I thought, oh my God, that's college. College has a 30-minute halftime. Coach has a minute. He can stop. We got 13 minutes. Get out of the way.
The last thing I want to do is be like, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
They must have to say something according to NFL. That's the only reason I can think of.
That's it. Yeah. Right. Because Erin Andrews, of course, Erin Andrews said, why don't you just let us do our jobs? Well, because your fucking job is to annoy the coach and get in his way. Right. That's your job.
Every coach in the history of the NFL would never speak to the media if they had a choice.
The thing is, what she made up is exactly what he would say anyway. We got to tackle better. We gotta play.
We're doing okay.
People are telling
me. Here we go to Pam Oliver, who spoke to Bill Belichick, and he said, "Yeah, the defense has got to do better." I mean,
I really do.
I'll have to dig it up. I got a piece of clip of Michael Lombardi, who I think is just a goofball. Oh, NFL insider. No, NFL gets fired all the time, guy. That's what he is. He's a guy that couldn't hold a job, but he's it's one of the Super Bowls. No, it's the NFC Championship against the Broncos, and he's got Bill Belichick down in the freaking tunnel there, right? And he's getting ready to talk to him about the game. What do you think, Bill, about the Broncos? You just played them 2 weeks ago, and Bill gives this answer. Well, they're good on special teams, they're great on defense, look good on the offense, they're good all well around throughout 3 phases of the game, blah blah blah. And Michael Lombardi goes, well, I know, Bill, let me blah, 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 and asks another question, and Bill says the exact same fucking words, literally 9 seconds apart. I'll have to dig it out for you. It's great. I have another one of James Brown. talking to Charlie Casserly about. Remember when not Barry Sanders? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. One of those scandals. They're going to take away guy's fucking Heisman.
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush.
Yeah, Reggie Bush, and he's asking Charlie Casserly, did this affect your decision to draft him? And Charlie Casserly literally sits there and he says the words directly in front of his face. No, that didn't affect our decision at all. And he looks at him, he goes, now, did that affect your decision in any way? I'm like, God damn it, do you people even pay attention? All right, well, that's enough rambling from me. Thank you for tuning into the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. Steve, thanks for being with us, man.
Yes, my pleasure. Man. This was fun. Anytime. This was a pleasure.
Right.
Give me an excuse to leave work early too on a Friday, so I'm all for it.
Careful, you're going to fall into that eyeball back there. That's going to get sticky. I do like that. All right, so tomorrow afternoon at 2:00, Scotty and Jesse and I will be back to discuss how great I did in our NFL picks last week. And we'll probably find out that Jesse's beating us all anyway.
Not after I totted the scores up earlier, John. But there you go.
Hold the surprise. All right, and then Sunday, we'll be right back after the game, immediately after the game, with immediate reaction as to what's going on. And Steve, if you want to jump on with us, give me a holler and let me know. You're probably going to be there, though, right?
I will be doing fall pictures with my family.
That's what you should do with Giants.
That's
at 3:00, like so fun. I only get to watch half the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, you got to take those pictures in the
spring. It was
spring.
supposed to happen last Saturday, but the weather was so shitty in the D.C. area, we had to cancel. So, yeah.
That's how it goes. All right. Well, right after the game, you can join us right here at this spot for a mashup between me, Jesse, Scott, the Scouse Andy, and Andy Burrows from the Bunker, Scouse from the 1 Point Safety Show. And we all get together, and no matter what condition we're in, we'll talk about what we just saw. Until then, folks, I hope we beat the fucking Giants. Y'all have a great afternoon and evening wherever you happen